What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I'm on the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again. When I drive, I do a lot of thinking, because usually it's my thoughts. It's listening to some of the sports talk radio, and it's the road, and you kind of get a little bit of clarity, especially now that I'm doing keto. Keto helps to kind of clear the mind. You kind of knock out some of the cobwebs and things, and Lord knows I got a whole lot of cobwebs and dust up in this head. We potentially, when we look at our offense, potentially could be losing two of our top three pass catchers from last year. A lot of people don't realize, when we talk about Dalton Schultz. Now, Dalton Schultz is a free agent, okay? You don't think of him as a great weapon, but Dalton Schultz was second on the team with pass receptions of 78, one behind CeeDee Lamb at 79. And then, of course, we have Amari Cooper, who it's sounding more and more like is going to be a cap casualty. I give Stephen Jones a lot of flack, and it worries me about Stephen Jones. Basically, you're getting a window into the future of what is going to be the Dallas Cowboys with Jerry Jones, because to me, Jerry Jones is backing away from all the day-to-day operations, and you're seeing Stephen Jones seizing control. Unfortunately, the Cowboys, it's easy for us to look and say, you got to keep Amari Cooper and everything else. But the reality is it's a delicate balance when you're talking about building a team, because you have to be able to allot money for every position out there. And our problem is the problem that we created. We have 21 free agents. And when you look at, say, safety, when we got Malik Hooker and we've got Jaron Curse that are all free agents, and Jaron Curse, the season that he had, I can guarantee you that if he gets the opportunity to go out on the free agent market, he's going to get a good contract. You've got guys like Randy Gregory, who they've said that they want to hold on to. Well, the reality is somewhere between $12 and $15 million is what's going to have to go to keep Randy Gregory. So when we say keep Amari Cooper, you have to not only put it in the equation of keeping Amari Cooper, it's also who do I not be able to keep, because it will have ramifications to others. And by all means, if the Cowboys actually have a plan to say, okay, we can make it without having these two of the three top pass catchers on the team, here's our plan to be able to do it and to use the money from Amari Cooper to make a change, then by all means, I'm with that. But if it's just about Amari Cooper, we have a problem with his stance on COVID and so forth, and there's more of a personal vendetta, then go ahead and say that and just get this out of the way. The way this thing has been drug out, and the whole conversation from originally when the season ended saying that when your stars that are getting paid and you get scrutinized being paid and you're not performing, then by all means just cut him and do that. But to make this thing linger, and this is the problem that I have with the Cowboys, is this feels a lot like what happened with Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant was under contract, right? Dez Bryant's numbers went down. Dez Bryant, there was some controversy with Dez, where he was saying, what's up with this crappy offense and things? Why is that? I only have 5 routes, is there something else going on? Get me the ball. And I remember Stephen Jones, when he would talk about Terrence Williams. Oh yeah, Terrence Williams, he's going to be okay. He's having off-season surgery and everything else. But then when it came to talking about Dez Bryant, Stephen Jones would kind of get this cold stone face. And for me, everybody kept saying, oh, Dez is coming back. We know Dez is coming back. And I'm like, Pay attention to Stephen Jones, because Stephen Jones is a window into the reality of what the Cowboys are doing. Jerry Jones is more of the emotional one that everybody, they're all my kids and family, and you can't envision the Cowboys without Dez Bryant. Stephen Jones is more of the executioner. And I have the same feeling that Amari Cooper is becoming the new Dez Bryant as far as this goes. They looked at it and says, Dez is making a whole lot of money. Dez Bryant is begging, is asking for the ball more. Dez Bryant's numbers have gone down. And, we've got cap issues. The funny thing about our cap issues, and it seems that the players end up being the ones that get blamed for it. But the reason we have the cap issues are because of the contracts that they do. And many times they have sabotaged themselves with these contracts. They always go through, and it seems like they belittle the player. They make them out to be greedy and not a team player and everything. And they end up waiting. The reality is the Cowboys could have signed Dak Prescott right after Kirk Cousins got his deal to a long-term deal that would have been about $29 million. Instead, they kept hemming and hawing, and they waited. They kept waiting. They kept putting it off. And they are the reason why that contract ended up being $40 million. You can't blame Dak. The market dynamics changed in the same way the market dynamics are changing again right now. You're going to see Lamar Jackson get a new deal. You're going to see Kyler Murray get new deals. The market is reset. It's going to be in the mid-40s, and Aaron Rodgers may top it off at 50, and we'll look back and say, well, Dak Prescott's contract at this time is a good contract. And the market dynamics are about to shift into high gear because of the CBA. That money actually has not started to hit the NFL's pockets, where we're going to see, I can guarantee you, and we can revisit this in a year from now, I can guarantee you that the salary cap for the following year will jump by a minimum of $50 million. But I think it's going to be more like $100 million. And so the things that we talk about, well, we don't have any money and the ramifications are down the road that we're going to be, no, you're not. No, you're not. You just went through the pandemic, and those hits that you had, you now have more money that is raking into the NFL than ever before. So I don't envy the Cowboys organization in the position that they're in, that they've partially created. The fact that they decided that last year, instead of us getting all these long-term deals and getting stuck with these big contracts with aging players, is a great thing. But with that, you have to understand that you got 21 free agents that are now going to say, okay, I played for a year at 21, at a reduced rate. I've proven myself, and now it's time for me to get mine. Well, you got to figure out who's the ones to keep and who's the ones to get let go. And it's hard because we as fans, we all look at it from the standpoint of what Amari Cooper has meant to the offense. It's hard to say, let's get rid of a guy who has over 3,000 yards in 3 years receiving and 21 touchdowns, to turn around and say, yeah, that's the guy that's got to go. But then turn around and look and say, we got to re-sign a guy who is coming off of an ACL surgery as well as a calf injury and only played half the season, and think that, okay, that's a better deal. It's hard. And you've got, like I said, you've got guys like Randy Gregory, you've got guys like Malik Hooker, and J-Ron Curse, and so on, that we have to try and get on this roster. And in some regards, I'm kind of conflicted on the Amari Cooper situation, because too many times we've signed big contract extensions for guys, and we look at it and see that the team didn't actually get out of it what they had hoped. And it makes you wonder, is it better to cut your losses and start all over? I just have a hard time thinking that the Cowboys are going to be better on offense without two of your top three pass catchers. In the end, there's not a damn thing that we as fans can do about it, other than find a new team. So we'll see what happens today. It'll be interesting to see what emphasis the Cowboys have on the workouts. We got tight ends and wide receivers and quarterbacks for the workouts and the combine. Hopefully I'll be back in time to be able to catch some of these workouts and some more of the news on that. But you know what? The work never ends. It never ends. And you got to keep pounding on it each day. Hope y'all are having a great day. And I hope I'll see you soon. Peace.